What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always, spitting these hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I talk about: football, basketball, and boxing. And I want to get into some football, the NFL, AFC, football predictions. We almost at the playoffs. Let's talk about it. All right, let's start with the AFC South. This division at the beginning of the season, a lot of people probably thought Tennessee was going to be the team to beat. And the Colts, having Matt Ryan, they were supposed to make some noise too. But we've seen how that's gone, especially with the coaching carousel going on in Indianapolis. Then over in Tennessee, they've been kind of up and down. Didn't think they were who we thought they would be. Then they came back. But out of nowhere, where people haven't expected it, Trevor Lawrence and his new coach, Doug Peterson. Now that he don't got my guy, Urban Meyer, over there in Jacksonville, it took some time. It's been some rocky roads. But I'm here to tell you, Jacksonville going to win out to end up 9-8, which will involve them beating Tennessee, which should put them in the 4 seed by default and in the playoffs. And I got Tennessee losing 1, possibly 2 of their last 3. Then from there, we got to talk about the AFC North. Interesting division. My guy, Lamar Jackson, been a fan of his for a long time. And this was his year to prove that he was deserving of that contract, that he was to be put in that same class with Patrick Mahomes, with your guy Deshaun Watson, right at the top of the food chain in terms of contracts. He was supposed to prove that this year, betting on himself. Football, a brutal game. The way he plays, his style makes it tough. And now, because of his injury situation, the Baltimore Ravens they're in a situation where they've gone from a team that was looking like they could win their division, and now from there they've gone to a point where now they're just trying to scrape into the playoffs. In my opinion, they very well will get in as more than likely the 7 seed in the playoffs, slipping in mainly because Jackson is out. And even when he was in, they were looking shaky, we must say. Not because Lamar wasn't doing his thing. He's had flashes of MVP Lamar Jackson throughout this season. But regardless, the defense has been not there for the Ravens, not a hardball defense. They've had some flashes, but for the most part, negative on that. Barely winning games and not even able to score that much with the great Lamar Jackson on the team. And now with him out, I'm only expecting them to win enough just to scrape into the playoffs. They might lose 2 of these last 3 games. So I got them at the 7 seed, but that's about the best I see for Baltimore. And then the other team in their division in the AFC North is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals, who are the hottest team in the league right now, doing their thing. A team that at first I wasn't sure they was going to make the playoffs because I figured they went all the way to the Super Bowl and lost. And a lot of times those teams don't respond well the next year. But Joe Burrow's the truth. They got a squad around him. And as long as they're ready to play that D they're capable of playing, and they got Joe Burrow and Chase and the other guys, the running game, the Bengals are a tough out, and they could go back to the Super Bowl. I got them at the 2 seed in the AFC because I think they're going to win out, which involves them beating Buffalo in Cincinnati. Now there's the AFC East, which has been a beast all year. The Miami Dolphins showed out first half of the season, even with Tua's scare with his injury. They still been balling. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, all those guys been doing a good job. Nice coaching going on out there. And the Miami Dolphins have stuck around, even though they've started to struggle as of late. They still look like a playoff team. The rest of that division, no haps on the playoffs. But the Dolphins can creep in. I can see the Dolphins being the 6th seed, more than likely, getting into the playoffs. Maybe they lose one more game. Maybe. But Buffalo will win the division as we expected. The problem is Buffalo, who was a Super Bowl favorite in a lot of sports and analysts' eyes, all the people who are in the know was talking about those Bills Mafia and what they was going to do this year. And a lot of that was predicated on them running through this league and being the 1 seed and everything having to come through Buffalo. I don't see that happening. I'm sorry, Buffalo Bills fans. I got the Bills at the 3 seed because, again, I got them losing one more game, just one more, but they're going to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. If they beat them, that'll shock me, and that'll be big time for them because then they maybe can get that 1 seed and have the playoffs coming through Buffalo. So that's going to be a huge game to see. And they can't slip up before they get to that game. They got to take care of business, of course, but that's the game. But I got them losing, bringing them to 4 losses and dropping them all the way to the 3 seed behind Cincinnati for the playoffs in the AFC. Then finally, we got the AFC West, which was proclaimed by many sports pundits to be the best division in NFL history. At least it was forming up to be at the beginning of this year. Let's recap. The Raiders, who came in off a pretty decent season, added quite possibly the best wide receiver in football, so they were supposed to be a playoff team for sure. Then Russell Wilson comes over to the Denver Broncos, a team that had a really good defense and was looking for that franchise QB, the missing piece. He was supposed to be a top 10 quarterback easy, a leader, a champion, and he was going to have them competing for the division, possibly even more. The Chargers, their time been coming for a few years now with the great Justin Herbert on their team, ascending, having great players on both ends of the ball, defense, offense, wideouts for Herbert. This was their year. Playoffs, possibly a Super Bowl contender, and then the Kansas City Chiefs, who have been in the AFC Championship. Right now it's seeming like it's just what we expect to happen, possibly the Super Bowl. So the question was, is all 4 teams going to the playoffs? Is that possible? Well, the answer for this year is heck no. It ain't happening. The Raiders are the Raiders. They are not making the playoffs, and will they make it next year? Who knows? The Broncos, they need some better coaching, and Russell Wilson looks like a shell of himself. Doesn't look like a top 10 quarterback. Looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, although I think when they fix their coaching situation, because of Russell Wilson's contract, they can't fix the quarterback situation, at least not in the next year. So when they fix the coaching situation, what's going to happen? I think they will look better next year, a possible playoff team next year. This year, it's over. However, the Chargers are on their way to the playoffs as the most dangerous 5th seed in a while. They coming in ready to rock and roll, and I think that they will have a chance to advance in these playoffs and possibly be a contender as they are getting healthy at the right time. They got the prototypical QB in the pocket with that rocket arm, the size and the height, got the defense, and like I said, they're getting healthier, he's getting his wideouts. And Patrick Mahomes and these guys are competing for another Super Bowl. I expect them to win out and have the 1 seed. I know that's getting boring, but I think it's going to happen. And Patrick is going to try to make sure it happens, but Spagnuolo needs to get on the defense because they have not been getting the job done lately. They need to have a prayer, have a pep talk or something, and convince these guys that 24 points is the max you can allow any team to put on us. And as long as we hold teams to 24 or less, we look at Patrick and say, take us to the Super Bowl, because that's what you're here to do. That's what you're getting paid to do. And we believe in you, and you are a leader. And I think he can do it. I think he's chasing another league MVP, which I think he's in the running for and should win still, even with Hurts playing the way he's played. I think Patrick will get it. And more importantly, I think he wants this Super Bowl, as all great quarterbacks should. And that being said, Kansas City, I've noticed the last few seasons, they seem to get bored around this time. The regular season for them is just a formality. They want to get to these playoffs, more importantly, back to that AFC championship to prove yet again that they're capable of winning the Super Bowl. Now let's see if they can get it done. Because if the Bills end up with the 1 seed, that's going to be tough for them. And can they beat Cincinnati is a question. And I think it's a question Patrick wants to answer, and I can't wait to see it. But that's my playoff predictions. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know what you're looking for. J-Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or hit the bell. Get at me in the comments. Let's go back and forth. You know YouTube is my main spot, but I'm on Instagram as well, at The Vault, JMU414 on Twitter. And of course, what's up, TikTok? I'll holler at y'all next time.